Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori, and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old way, but accept some of the new. We love to cook, and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us. So I'm out here on the back porch, the outdoor kitchen, and I've got a big pot of tomatoes that I just put in here. I'm going to cook them down. And I've even got enough for another big pot. I'm going to cook all them down. I'm going to make tomato juice. I use a lot of tomato juice in the wintertime with chili and soups and stuff. Here we got another pot of tomatoes. And y'all notice that I don't cut my tomatoes up. It's just part of probably either not having the time or just being lazy about it. But it's okay. It takes a little longer for them to cook down, but that's okay. What I do is I just put them on, put the lid on, and I go about my business because I've always got so much to do. So 2 pots of tomatoes. It's going to make several pint jars of tomato juice, and that's what I'm going to be doing in pints. With just me and Mr. Brown, pints is plenty. If I'm making a big batch of something for family or something, I can always open up 2 or 3. But a quart, a lot of times, is too much for just me and him. Making tomato soup, a little pot of chili, or vegetable soup or something like that. So I'd rather do it in pints. So anyways, let's let this second pot cook down, and then we'll go to canning our tomato juice. Okay, you can see our tomatoes are cooked down. You can see how much they cooked down. About a half a pot now. This is a 23 quart stock pot. And I cooked 2 23 quart stock pots of tomatoes down. I don't know how many pounds that was because I didn't weigh them, but it was 2 times of a 23 quart stock pot. And you see how they cook down. Now you can take a potato masher or whatever you want to and kind of mash them down. What I'm going to do is I'm fixing to put it through my sieve right here. And this is how I do my tomato juice. Now you can save all these peelings and dehydrate them to make tomato powder. Okay, we got our juice strained, and this is just from one pot, and we also have another pot. So this is gonna, I'm thinking that all of it together is gonna fill a 23-quart pot full of juice. So we'll see what happens. Look how pretty and red that is. Okay, so let's try to break this down just a little bit. Since I didn't weigh it in pounds, let's look and see how much juice I got. Okay, this is a 23-quart stock pot, and you can see it's 3/4 of the way full, which is plenty full enough. So what I started with was two 23-quart stock pots of whole tomatoes. So 2 stock pots full of tomatoes made 1 23-quart stock pot of juice. So I hope that helps you out a little bit, trying to figure out how much juice it's going to make. Like I said, I didn't weigh them out, didn't even think about it. Because when I go doing stuff, I just start doing it and don't think sometimes. But anyways, that might help you out. So I've got this on the heat. I've got my jars over here. And I know this is not enough jars yet, but I'll probably have to do 2 batches, which is okay. And we're going to put a little bit of seasoning in here, because I kind of make this almost like a V8 juice that you can either drink or you can cook with. So let's gather all the seasonings up. Okay, let's put our seasonings in. Now this is just what I use when I'm making this kind of juice. And like I said, you can drink this juice like a V8 juice. You can make chili with it. You can make vegetable soup with it. Just whatever. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to use my dried bell peppers, my dehydrated bell peppers. And what you're going to do is you're going to see me put a handful and another handful. That's about 1 cup. So what I'm wanting is about 2 cups of dehydrated. So if you're not using dehydrated and you're using a fresh bell pepper, cut you up 2 or 3 good sized bell peppers. So we're going to say that that's about 2 cups of my dehydrated bell peppers. Now I'm going to put in a good handful of dehydrated chopped onions. Now, if you're using fresh onions, use you 2 regular size fresh onions. Okay, I'm going to put in about, kind of crunched up, I'm going to put in about 4 or so bay leaves. Then I'm going to put in, now I'm using celery salt, and I'm going to use a good tablespoon. If you have celery in the refrigerator, and you can just use celery seed, you don't have to use celery salt, but since I'm using celery salt, I won't be adding any salt to it. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of celery salt, and if you have celery in your refrigerator, just cut you up about 5 or 6 stalks and put it in here with all your other fresh vegetables. I'm going to put in a tablespoon, about 3/4 tablespoon of oregano. And let's see, I'm going to put in a 1/2 cup of sugar. And then I'm going to put in a couple of teaspoons or so of black pepper. I don't want to put too much, because a lot of times when I'm drinking V8, I'll put pepper in it, fresh pepper, in my glass. Having a hard time getting my pepper out here. So that's a couple teaspoons of black pepper. You can use white pepper if you want to. Now I'm going to put a couple, let's see, I'm going to eyeball it like I do everything. That's 1 tablespoon This is Worcestershire sauce. 2, I think I'm going to put 4 tablespoons to this 23 quart pot of juice. There we go. I think I've got everything in there. Now, one other thing that you can add to this, but I'm not going to because neither one of us are real big on the bite or the heat, and you can put you a couple of teaspoons of horseradish in here. That'll make your, if you're like gonna drink it for V8, that'd be really good. But we're wimpy, me and Mr. Brown, we just don't like that in there. But yes, you can add, and I'll put that in the description below. And you know, a lot of times when I'm doing this, I'm just eyeballing it. Sometimes I don't really have a recipe. So down in my recipe description box where I put my recipes, if you see something that may not be exact, yeah, go ahead and ask me. But most of the time, like this one, if I'm eyeballing it, I may not put the exact amount that I used in the video, but most of the time I try. So I've got this on a medium simmer, so I'm gonna let this come to a good simmer, and then I'm gonna let it simmer for 30 minutes. And I'm gonna taste it. If I feel like it needs anything, I'll add a little bit to it. Okay, let's can up our tomato juice. Now, after my tomato juice had come to a good simmer, and I let it simmer probably about 15 minutes, then I tasted of it. And I have to confess that it just wasn't enough of the different spices in it for me. So what I done is I went back and I doubled it. So if I put a teaspoon of oregano in it, I went back and put another teaspoon. If I put 4 tablespoons of Worcestershire, I went back and put 4 more. So when I put the recipe down in the description box, it's going to be me doubling it for a 23 quart pot of tomato juice. It just didn't, to me, you know, sometimes you get it just right, and sometimes you taste of it after doing it, and you just need to add more to it, and that's what I done. So anyways, I always tell people, season stuff to how you like it to taste. You may like it with what I had already put in it, but when I tasted it, it needed a little bit more sugar, it needed just a little bit more of everything that I put in it. So anyway, so when y'all see my written recipe, you'll see that I doubled it. So anyway, let's get started. I mean, it's a pretty easy process. Now, you can either strain after putting your bell peppers, and if you put celery in it and your onions and stuff, if you want to, you can strain that out, or you can take a blender or a hand blender and just blend all that in that good juice, and that's what I done. There's probably a few little peppers in there, but not a bunch of them. So that's just up to you how you want to do that. So now what we're going to do, and make sure you get your bay leaves out of there. I may have blended mine up, I don't know. But I tried to get them all out before I blended it up. So now we're just going to fill our jars up. My jars come out of my hot water bath, so my jars are hot. My juice is hot. I put about a half a teaspoon of lemon juice in the bottom of each one of my jars. If you're doing quarts, you'll want to put about a tablespoon. I want to leave about 1 inch head space. And if you're doing quarts, probably 1 cannerful is what you get. I'm going to end up probably with 2 cannerfuls because I'm doing pints. But there's just so many things that we'll be able to use this for, besides putting it in the refrigerator, cooling it, and making a good drink out of it. Very healthy drink. V8 juice, or using it for so many different recipes. Mr. Brown and I have to be careful anymore how many tomatoes we consume anyways. But it seems like the tomato juice just isn't as hard on us as eating diced up tomatoes or whole tomatoes, even though during the summertime when them ripe tomatoes are coming up, we do eat the ripe ones. But it seems like we don't eat as many as we used to. But that first ripe tomato on a good homemade hamburger or bacon sandwich, that first bacon sandwich with that first ripe tomato is always the best. My grandma always had a pantry full of tomato juice and whole tomatoes. We ate a lot of hamburger soup in the winter times because hamburger soup went a long ways. We'd eat it one night and then eat it the next day. Now, you can take a debubbler if it makes you feel better and just kind of stir it around or go like this, but really and truly, there's not any air bubbles in there really much. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our towel and we're just going to wipe the rims good. Now I don't know how many of y'all like V8 juice, stuff like that, but it's really healthy for you. When I do drink it, I can't drink like a whole lot of it. I can take probably about, I don't even know that I can drink 8 ounces. So I'll take about, I don't know, 4 ounces or so, and I'll put me just a little bit of pepper, black pepper in there, and drink it. Sometimes I do that, and you can do that instead of at lunchtime when you don't have much time to eat lunch. And I can take this and I can make me and Mr. Brown some tomato soup with some grilled cheese. I can put it in our chili, put it in our soups like vegetable soup or just any kind of different soups that you make that calls for any kind of tomato or tomato sauce or tomato juice. I just like using tomato juice in a lot of recipes. Okay, we got that cleaned up. Now we're going to take and I just had these in a little bit of warm water, just warm tap water. I don't boil my lids anymore. And from the way it looks, I think I'm going to get a good 18 pints, maybe 20, we'll see. You know, a lot of times when I'm doing that, I'll try to weigh my vegetables and stuff so y'all can have a more accurate count on, how many pounds made, how many jars, but I didn't remember to weigh them. So anyways, it'll work out. So pretty much 46, we'll say 46 quarts. It was 2 23-quart stock pots of tomatoes made 1 23-quart stock pot of juice. That's kind of easy to remember. We'll get our lids on here and we're going to do the hot water bath. I do have my rack in the bottom of my pot so that the jars don't sit on the bottom of the pot. There will be 1.5 to 2 inches of water should be over the top of these while they come to a full boil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them to the front where my big burner is. And I'm going to get, whoops, I forgot one. We're going to get them in the water bath canner. You can find these canners almost anywhere. You can find them at Walmart. You can find them at hardware stores. You can find them on Amazon. Just so many different places. We'll bring this back up to a boil. And once it comes up to a full rapid boil, that's when I'll start timing it for 30 minutes. Even though I'm doing pints, I still like to water bath them for 30 minutes. And you know what? If you feel like you got too much water, like I do, all you got to do is dip some out, because there's a good 3 inches over that. So I took some out. They're all in there. We're going to put the lid on, let it come up to a boil, then we're going to time it for 30 minutes. Okay, our water is coming to a rolling boil, and we're going to let it boil for 30 minutes. The mic's not plugged in. You look short.
Still short.
So we got a bunch of tomato juice canned up. Is there anything you want to say to anybody?
Well, let me see. It's a beautiful afternoon. It's cool, and it just come a shower of rain. Now the sun's shining. Coming just a little shower, and the winds are blowing. And it's a very peaceful afternoon. You're in there canning
Tomato juice.
tomato juice, which will be very good later on.
It's going to.
Be good.
It smells really good too. I do want to say one thing. I did sell out of cookbooks, but we got more coming. And the publisher called me the other day to make sure how many I had ordered, and I said yes, I did. So, you know, they're also publishing other people's cookbooks too. So, you know, and I think it kindly. She said, "I can't believe you're selling out this quick," and I said, "Yeah, I am." I mean, she's really happy for me, and they're just trying to keep up with us, but um, we should be having more come in around the 9th, and then some more come in around the 20th. So um, we'll have plenty then. But I can't guarantee you that anything after that you'll get before Christmas. So we'll just do the best we can. My emails and stuff, I'm trying to keep up really hard with them. It's hard. It's just hard to do it all, but we try really hard. We really do. If you sent a payment for a cookbook and you haven't received the cookbook yet, it's because you're next in line for the new ones coming in, which are the same cookbooks. I only have one out right now, and so that's what it is. If you hadn't got one yet, then your payment is there, and it's just like they're all lined up in a line there, and that's how we send them out, because we send them out how they come to us in the mail. So I know other women that have got cookbooks for sale, and they're going through the same thing. That publisher is trying to keep up too. So but it's wonderful. I mean, I don't. It's just wonderful, and it's just so humbling that I have sold that many cookbooks, and I want to thank everybody for that. Sometimes it just shocks me. And I want to thank everybody for the gifts that you have sent. They have been wonderful. We appreciate all of them. And Mr. Brown has been so busy, that's why you haven't seen him much here lately. I told him he's going to have to get on here, so here he is. So,
it seems like my days and weekends just run together. I don't.
well, I mean, it's life. We do, we're real people. We have real lives, and real lives are busy when you work off and on the homestead. I mean, that's real life.
I'm up at 4:30 and home at
So,
5:30, maybe.
it's just real life stuff, and that's what that's what y'all want to see. So, that's here it is.
I have started a project though.
Yes, you have. Yes, you
I'm.
have.
You can't see it, of course, but it's down here to my left. Uh, I started building a pad for a building and
I ain't got my mic on, so you'll have to.
some type of shop. I don't know what it's going to be yet. Just I'm thinking that in the future, if and when the world holds together and we end up getting an RV or something, then I'm going to have a place to put it, and I'm run out of places to put things, so I'm going to have. I need a place. I need a place that's got electricity to it, and where I can hook my table saw and just different things where I can pull something inside there and work on it, and it's not going to be no extravagant. It might have a concrete floor eventually. I ain't sure I'm going to do that first, but
And we don't know for sure, but maybe if before it just gets freezing cold, maybe Mr. Brown will go fishing again and catch us some fish.
I kind of want to go today, and that didn't happen today.
That didn't happen today. It rained today too.
I've put 100 and I don't know 120 something yards of dirt that's been hauled in, and I've made a small pad out here, and then I've been working after dark, coming in with a tractor after dark and packing bucket loads of rock. I'm putting big rock around the base and other rock around the edges because it's like I don't know what was it in that corner, over 3.5 foot tall, but there's nothing level around here.
there's not a level spot.
And I probably needed more dirt and tapered it off, but that just didn't happen. So I'm stacking rock around it, all the way around the base of it and up on the side of it, big rock. Keep it from washing.
Mm-hmm. We haven't been able to do our video on our 72-hour emergency backpack yet.
Oh man!
But we're still going to work on that one. We just ain't had time to do it because that's a lot of thinking and a lot of doing. Even though we want to get that together very bad. Maybe too late by the time we get it together. I hope not. But anyways, I don't fret about that because we're ready here on the homestead for whatever happens. But if we had to just pick up and leave in a heartbeat, I'd have to be pretty fast to throw stuff together. But we really want to work on that. It won't be long we'll be able to put a fire in that wood cook stove. And I'm excited. Because y'all know that's the first thing I love to do when cold weather hits is crank up that wood cook stove. Right?
Right.
He don't want to get up there and clean that chimney out. I know what he's thinking about.
Yeah, I clean this whole stove. That's a pretty good job, but I can do it.
Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this canning video. I still do quite a bit of canning in the wintertime. Even though the garden's over, I still can in the wintertime a few things. So there'll be a few more canning stuff going on. I'm fixing to go out and plant some greens in the greenhouse, some winter greens. My high tunnel is doing really well, and I'll take y'all a little tour on that pretty soon before maybe the tomatoes get frostbite. What else is going on?
Well, I just noticed that you have a rose bloom down there.
One rose has bloomed. It's like
toward the end of October, you have a rose.
Look at the sun coming through there. It's so pretty. So pretty. And somebody's got a birthday next weekend. I wonder who that is.
He ain't gonna be 60.
Oh, he's not?
60-year-old.
60-year-old.
60-year young.
Young, yes.
60. I've been around a while, ain't I?
He was born on Halloween. And he can tell you the story on that. It really
But I'm a treat. I'm not a trick.
I don't know about that. But
Or I'm not a goblin.
It really upset his sisters because they didn't get to go trick or treating. The mama was in there having
I was born on Halloween night, and they didn't get to go trick or treating, so they've ribbed me about that all my life.
Well, I didn't mean for this to be a chat, but we was going to try to end the video, but it's just hard for us to sit down and not chat with y'all. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope y'all, if you didn't have never canned tomato juice, this is just how I do it. And it's a good recipe. So, and it's really easy peasy. Y'all seen how easy it was. So,
one more thing.
What's that?
You're sweeter than the dew on a honeysuckle vine. And I get to give you a kiss on the cheek.
Okay, what do you want? Wait, he's up to something, I guarantee
I've done had tamale pie for supper.
Yeah.
It's good. Ooh, it's good.
You're so funny. Anyways, y'all have a good week. Be safe. Don't worry. Just do the best you can. Just be ready for whatever. And just give your worries to the good Lord, because he's going to take care of you.
Amen to that.
Amen. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all in a few days.